Hey guys, I wanted to give you a tour overview of the charging station that I made. I love it, it works really well, so I'll show you guys what I made. What I used was a rigid 22-inch Pro organizer. Got this from Home Depot. 22 inches wide, about 12 inches deep, 6 inches tall. It's an awesome case, really durable latches. It's strong, it's rigid, hence the name. So I'll open it up and show you guys what we got. There it is. Inside we have an iCharger 406 Duo. This was not the original charger that I had in here, and I'll show you that before we get into it. So this was the original plate that I made for it. I have a Turnigy reactor 2x300 watt 20 amp charger. It's an awesome charger, works really well, but I never realized how small these iChargers are. They're actually smaller than this. And it's black and orange, so it matches the case, and I found it on sale for 250 bucks, so that pretty much sealed the deal. So one of the problems I had with this setup was I was using these terminal binding posts for this, these plugged into here, but since I'm running a 12 volt power supply, these things got really hot, so hot that they actually melted the plastic plates on here. So for this version of it, we bypassed all that by going with an EC5 connector, which comes on the iCharger. So what I did is I actually installed EC5 connectors on here. We have one for the 12 volt and one for the 24 volt. And they're mounted, glued, epoxied right in there, so they're really strong. So I'm going to move the camera up a little closer so you guys get a better view of it, and you guys can check it out. So now you guys can see it a little better. We have the iCharger, we have balance ports. All this stuff right here is made of tri-ply plywood. It's 5.5 millimeters thick. And there's a lot of detail in here. First I'll start off by this base plate here. We have this charger which is actually set lower than this level, so it allows us to clear the top here and bring this plate up so you get everything a little bit higher and closer to you. We have a temperature sensor, a fan switch, two outputs here, so we have a 12 volt coming from the 12 volt power supply underneath, which I'll show in a second. And then this one's labeled 24, but it's actually 22.2 or 25 volts when it's fully charged. And that goes to a 6S 20 amp battery in here. On this side we have a voltage display which tells us the voltage of that battery, and then we have a switch to power from the battery onto here. Back in here you can see this, the hinge plate. This is actually 5 pieces of wood glued together, bolted together, and it allows this whole container to open up here. I took a lot of time in this, making it really nice, detailed. Everything is cut precisely. So I'll show you guys what it looks like. This is the bottom where it's set down a little bit lower, allows that charger to be lower. There's pieces of wood in here that are plain to be flush with this, and they're using all M3 or M4 black machine screws with Allen heads on them, so it turned out really nice. There's a magnetic latch in here, which makes it really durable. You can pick this thing up just like a suitcase and carry it. So we pop this open, we can see we have a 12 volt power supply in here. This is one of the juice box ones that I bought off eBay for about 50 bucks. It's been working really well. We have the temperature display here, that's the temperature sensor just screwed on. Everything is 12 gauge wire that's big and needs it. We have a switch there where I just actually soldered on 4mm banana plugs, or 4mm bolt connectors. You can see how much time went into this. This is 4 JST connectors soldered in parallel and then connected in here. This powers all the accessories, the fans, the displays, the LEDs, which I'll get to. What we also have in here is the 40mm cooling fan, which is actually the same size that's in the power supply. So what I did is I took the screws out, and you can see the edge of it there. That's butted up right against there, and then it's actually drilled right into here, and there's a cutout, so it actually sucks additional air in, and I can turn that on so it's always running. Also in here we have storage. A lot of storage in here, which is one of the things I really wanted in this setup. We have our charge leads, we have our remote for our LEDs, and then we have this thing, which is really cool. So I'll shut this and show you how this all works. In here I can actually fit 4 6S batteries, 2 4500s, 2 3300s. Can also fit 3 4S batteries in here. I don't have them all in right now. And then underneath I can actually put in a couple more batteries as well. So my original setup had both batteries charging on here so we could set them right here and here, but then I was kind of puzzled This is symmetrical, I like it, but when you plug this in here, where do you put it? So I made this out of the plywood too, it's just spray painted black. It's got some of this really strong Velcro on it, the 5 and 10 pound stuff, I really like it. So this just fits into a slot right here, clicks in. Now we have a really sturdy base to plug this in. We can take some of our power leads out, and you guys get the point. Plug them in here, plug the balance port in, give it a little connection, and there we go. So let's fire it up and I'll show you guys what we got in here. We'll hook it up to the 12 volt plug, go around to the other side, plug in the power from the wall, flip the switch, and there we go. We got power. We have our temperature display here because that power supply gets really hot. Previously I didn't have any cooling in here, so we have a 40 millimeter fan down there that I showed you. We have an 80 millimeter fan in here that pulls the air right through that section. It does an awesome job at cooling. Before I had the cooling fans in here, we were reaching temperatures up to 160 degrees, and now the hottest that it gets is like 125 when I'm charging at 60 amps. So you can see the air gets pulled right through here. There's vent holes that go right through here and out here. We have a switch right there. Turns on this fan and the one in there. This is the controller for the LEDs. We can select any color we want. The infrared sensor's right there, and all the wires are run up and through here. There's a shade here, which I'm not sure if you guys can see that. I'll zoom out a little bit. A piece of wood here that's kind of like a shade, so you don't actually see the LED strip, but you see the light from it. We have LEDs down in here, LEDs in here, and then we actually have LEDs in there, lights up the box. Not really functional, but they look awesome. I guess they do come into function. When I'm flying and it's getting dark at night, everything's lit up, I can see what I'm doing. I can make cool colors. And as you guys saw in the little teaser, you can put them so they go with the music. Kind of overkill, but hey, I like it. So I'll shut this fan off and I'll show you guys what's in here. We have a Turnigy Multi-Star 6S 20 amp battery in there. And what this does is it allows us to charge when we're out and we don't have power. Inside here you can see the 6S balance connector is connected to another balance board here plugged in. So when we want to charge this battery, we don't even need to take it out. We simply run this through here, plug that in, and then what we do is we take the power output and we put it back into here. So we can charge the battery just like that. Flip that switch, and now you guys can, well, that's plugged into this side. So I'll show you, we can switch these over to this side. Plug this into here. So instead of drawing power out of there, we can draw power in. And we are getting an error, and I'm not exactly sure why, but it always works before. What does it say? Oh. Plug those into the wrong ones. There we go. That was scary. Don't want to do that. Got the pressure on me with the camera going. So now you can see all the cells in there. So we don't even have to open this up. This will fit right back in here. We can press that in. The wires go right through here. So the LEDs are cool, but they run on 12 volts. So we can't run on 12 volts off this. So what I was doing is I was using this balance board to actually draw off cells 1, 2, and 3 to power 12 volts to these lights. But it was actually drawing a lot more power than I suspected. So it was dropping cells 1, 2, and 3 a little quicker and took a lot longer to balance. So what I did is I got a little 3S 1300 milliamp battery mounted in there, and with the flip of a switch, I used a double pull, double throw switch kind of backwards. Most people will use that kind of switch for one power source powering 2 accessories. But what we can do is we can flip the switch using 2 power sources to 1 accessory, and we can flip between the power sources. So with the flip of a switch, now we're powering those LEDs off of the 3S battery in there. So you can see I can turn the power supply off and we still have the lights on. Same thing goes for this battery in here. We can take the balance plug it into here, and then we have a parallel JST connector which can run through this slot here, and we can charge that one without taking it out. It's still easy to take out. Everything is just Velcroed in with that really strong Velcro, and if you want to take it out, you can. So I'll unplug this here, show you guys what we can do when we're out at the field flying. Simply take this plug here, plug it in here, flip that switch. We can select battery power, and now we're running this off that battery. So with this battery in there, I can charge about 6 of these, or 5 of the 4500s, or if I'm flying the 4S 3000s or 2500s, I can get about like 12, 15 charges, quite a bit. And by then, if I leave with all the batteries charged, I'm pretty much done flying anyways. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, and you guys can get a closer look at how much detail is really in here. It took a lot of time to get all this the way I wanted. Everything's measured pretty good. So we can see that these are all pieces of wood cut out, and they're all bolted in. So if I ever want to change any of the display switches, I can basically just take this piece out, replicate it, and change the cutouts in there. It took a long time to get it perfect because I got OCD with this stuff. Then we also have, this is another mounting plate here with the EC5 connectors, and if we want, we can just switch those out as well and put some binding posts on. I got some nicer ones that I could use. So I think that pretty much covers everything that this does. I had a lot of fun building it. It's kind of like a work in progress. I don't know if I'll ever be done. It's kind of like one of those ongoing projects. I always want to add something else. One other thing I was thinking about adding is, since my DX9 would fit in there perfectly, I was thinking about getting another one of these cases, getting a foam cutout for my DX9, using that to just store batteries in either side, and then I could get another 20 amp battery in there, another fan, and then hook it up to a double pull, double throw switch, so I could actually toggle between whether I'm powering this between this battery or that battery. And with 6S 40 amp battery, I could fly for quite a long time, even charging the larger batteries. So I'm going to take this out here, pop this up, and I'm actually going to turn the lights down so you can see how the LEDs look. So they really do give it a nice even glow. Like I said, we can select the different colors. I think the green looks good, the blue looks good. We can just set it so it fades between the colors. It's kind of overkill, like I said, but I think it looks pretty awesome. Last thing I want to show you guys is these wires right here. I actually impressed myself with these, how well they actually turned out as far as shutting it and having them pop up there. So I'm going to reposition the camera, give you guys a better view of that. Before I do that, I just want to give a general overview of everything. So the whole entire charging station is put together with, like I said, metric M3 and M4 screws. The entire thing can be taken apart very easily. It can be changed very easily. Almost nothing is glued into the box except a couple things that really don't ever need to come out, like for the supports for this. All the wires, everything is made to be plugged, everything is soldered, but soldered with plugs on the end. So almost everything in here can be unplugged, taken out, changed. Quite a lot of wires. It looks like a mess, but there's a lot going on in there. Everything can be taken apart, manipulated. I can add more accessories if I want. Very easy to do. All the pieces of wood are bolted in. Pieces that are together are glued together. Things are screwed right through here, but it makes it really easy. So using an Allen 2mm hex driver and a 7mm nut driver, I can take the whole thing apart in 20 seconds. So I'll reposition the camera to let you guys get a better look at this, and you guys can check them out. So now you guys can see these wires running up in here. The LED controller and the infrared sensor are right there, so all the wires were in there. In each one of these strands there's 4 like 30 gauge wires, and I cut one apart and had to solder it back together, so I decided not to shorten them, so they're all wound up in here. But I wanted all these wires to go up in here and be kind of neat. So what I did is I put them all together in a row. I cut a notch in this thing. Those are pinched in there so they won't move in there. And you can see this actually turned out way better than I thought it would. when you shut the lid, the wires actually rise right up in there and those two notches align. So there's no wires getting pinched or anything like that. Still keeps it really neat and clean looking. So guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, maybe learned something, maybe got inspired. If you guys have any ideas of what I could do to improve on this, or something that you don't think went well, or something you think is dangerous, I know a lot of you guys are going to say that it's not lipo safe, you shouldn't store your batteries in there. All these batteries that I store in here, I only put them in there when I'm taking them out to fly. I take them right out and put them in something safer. I do leave these batteries in there all the time, so I guess I'm kind of living life on the edge, but what are you going to do? Well, like I said, if you guys have any ideas, comments, questions, where I got parts and stuff, everything I bought on either Amazon or local hardware stores. I pretty much cleaned out my hardware store of the M3 and M4 screws. There's probably $40. Those things are pretty expensive, like 30-40 cents a piece. So there's quite a few of them in there. But let me know what you guys think. If you like it, any ideas of what I can do to improve it, or if you guys have any ideas of what you want to build for yourself. I love building this stuff. I think I might actually like building these things more than flying. I don't know, haven't decided yet, but this setup has worked perfectly. It serves me really well. It's nice to be able to carry everything in one thing. It's tough, it's durable, and it's an all-in-one thing. So when I'm charging at home, got everything, your batteries, charging accessories, charger. When you're out of the field, all in the same place. You just flip a plug and you're good to go. Thanks for watching, guys.